And there's that, and here comes record. We've opened the record now in the matter of Kalia Anderson, case number 2020-1735DL. My name is Marc Crotteau. I'm a referee with the 37th Circuit Court. Because this matter is being heard by a referee, any party has the right to file an objection, asking the judge to review any findings or recommendations that come out of today's hearing. Anyone who chooses to do that has to do it within 7 days and in accordance with Michigan court rules. Present for today's hearing by way of Zoom is Kalia Anderson. Is that correct? Kalia, I'll need you to unmute.
Yes, sorry.
Thank you. And Kalia is on the same Zoom call as her mother, Wendy St. John. Is that correct, ma'am?
Yes.
I'll note that Mr. Sackrider, who is Kalia's attorney, is here as well. And prior to starting today's record, I put them all in a breakout room to have a discussion. Mr. Sackrider, are you ready to proceed right now?
Yes.
We also have Ms. Castleman here from the prosecutor's office. I'll note that we're here today to continue a bench trial in this matter that was started in January. We got through a witness, but were unable to finish the trial at that time, and so we adjourned it, or continued, I suppose I should technically say. We are still in the middle of Ms. Castleman's case. So Ms. Castleman, let me ask you first, before we start into evidence, is there any issue that you think we need to address prior to getting into the substance?
I don't believe so, but I believe I heard you state that we got through one witness last time. I believe we had 2 witnesses last time that we heard from.
That actually, yes, pardon me, that's correct. I see my notes for the second witness also. All right. Mr. Sackrider, any substantive issues that we need to address before we get into evidence?
No.
All right, Ms. Castleman, over to you.
I would be calling Officer Seth Herbstreit.
Officer Herbstreit, will you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. You can lower your hand. Please state your name and spell your last name.
Officer Stephen Herbstreit, H-E-R-B as in boy, S-T-R-E-I-T-H.
Ms. Castleman, go ahead.
Sorry for misstating your name.
That's right.
So, Mr. Herbstreit, who do you work for?
The City of Battle Creek Police Department.
Okay, and how long have you worked there?
A little over 4 years with the city.
All right, and what's your position there?
I'm a liaison officer at Lakeview High School.
Okay, and in February of 2020, were you also a liaison officer at Lakeview High School?
I was.
All right, and were you on duty on Friday, February 28th, 2020?
Yes.
Okay. And do you recall whether anything was occurring at the school on that date?
This incident occurred previous night, I believe, on school property. And I was brought to my attention by the victim in this case during school hours the day after it happened.
All right, so you're aware of the of an incident that occurred. Are you feeling familiar with Kalia Anderson?
I am.
Okay, and do you see her on your Zoom screen today?
Yes.
Can you describe what she's wearing?
I'm sorry, she's not on the screen currently, but I did when she was in. They were flipping back and forth in Zoom. I did see her sitting with her mom.
Okay, and all right. So may the record reflect that the witness identified the defendant, or sorry.
Yes, actually, let me ask a quick question. Officer, when you say she's not on the screen right now, is that because the way you have your Zoom set up?
Yeah. It must be. I'm only seeing right now. I just see Mr. Referee Crotteau and then myself.
Okay. Thank you. Go ahead, Ms. Castleman.
All righty. So you stated that you received a report on February 28th, correct?
Yes.
Can you tell me about the nature of that complaint?
The victim in this case, Addison, stated she was at a basketball game, I believe the prior night, and there was a altercation.
I'm gonna
between-
object to testimony of what the
What's the
alleged
nature of
victim
the
told
objection?
him.
Mr. Sackrider, what's the objection?
Hearsay testimony.
All right, I'm going to overrule it for two reasons. One is that it's, as far as I can tell, simply setting the stage rather than being offered for the truth, and for another, fundamentally, I'm not taking it for the truth other than for the reason why Officer Herbstreit eventually did the things that will be offered substantively. So go ahead, officer.
Okay, yes, I was contacted in my office by Addison. The victim in this case, she stated that she was at a basketball game at Lakeview High School, and that she was assaulted by a group of females. Later, after reviewing the video and security footage at the high school, I was able to confirm that Kalia Anderson was one of the suspects in assaulting victim Addison in this case. There was footage from a cell phone video also entered into evidence in this case, along with the high school camera footage. Do my investigation. Again, I found Miss Anderson, and then another female who was not a student at Lakeview Schools at that time had assaulted Addison, leaving the basketball game.
Okay, so can you tell me do you remember about what time? So when you reviewed the video footage, do you remember about what time that alleged assault occurred?
It was towards the end of the basketball game. I don't know exact time. I haven't seen the video in quite a while. So I would say probably between around 8 o'clock at night. It was dark out. I do know.
And
So I would object to testimony from the video if it's not been admitted.
So far, well, Ms. Castleman, what's your response to that?
well, I believe that it's something that Mr. Herbstreit observed surveillance of the actual assault. I don't believe I've yet gotten into where that particular video is. I know that Exhibit 1 is a video of the assault, which he also mentioned. So
Objection overruled because the testimony is with regard to Officer Herbstreit's direct observation. So go ahead, Ms. Castleman.
all right, Officer Herbstreit, can you tell me what you observed on that surveillance footage?
Yeah. Addison was walking up the lower level of the gym. If you're watching two different camera angles, she's exiting the athletic wing of the school building. Group of females comes from the upper level downstairs into the athletic vestibule, opens the doors, and confronts Addison at that time. There was some water thrown, and then everybody proceeds outside. There was family members of the victim that showed up also to try to escort her out of the school. Upon escorting her out of the school, Addison was followed by this group of females, and a fight ensued outside, involving three subjects from what we saw. They got Addison put into the car. That's when Kalia is observed going into the car, assaulting Addison. Addison got back out of the car. The altercation.
Your Honor, I would just ask if the juvenile can stop making faces at the camera and reacting to the testimony.
Ms. Castleman, don't even worry about it.
Okay.
As long as she's not interrupting, she can make whatever faces she wants. I can see that.
Yeah. All right.
Okay,
Sorry.
go ahead.
Addison got back out of the vehicle. There was pushing, shoving. Cell phone video showed Kalia hitting Addison in the back of the head. Eventually, a few seconds later, family members were able to get Addison back into her vehicle, and all parties separated at that time from each other, and the altercation ended.
And so this Addison Fritz that you saw in that video, was that the same Addison Fritz that was the one this complaint came from?
Yes, it was.
Okay. And you stated that there was also a cell phone video that you reviewed. Whose video was that?
I don't recall whose video it came from, to be honest with you. I'm sorry.
Okay. Would it do you have your report handy, or do you not have a report?
No, I didn't make it back to my office. I got tied up on something. I didn't make it back to my office, which is where the report's at for the names.
Remember whether the video came from someone related to the victim, or was it related to the juvenile?
I don't recall. I apologize.
Sorry, let me pause you for just a moment. And this is one of the weird things about doing hearings by Zoom. Someone named Dominique Norton, has popped into the waiting room. Is that someone that either of the lawyers has associated with this case?
No.
Don't recognize that name.
All right, then I'm going to just leave them there and we can deal with them later. Ms. Castleman, go ahead.
So, Mr. Herbstreit, from the video that you observed, well, sorry to strike back. Do you have experience in dealing with incidences such as these through your job?
Yes.
And can you tell me, how many assaultive incidences you've investigated over your time at BCPD?
Hundreds. I've been doing police work for approximately 14 years. So, but at BCPD, probably 100 assaults.
Have you had any training on investigating assault incidences?
I have.
And what's that been?
Reviewing all the evidence as far as speaking with the witness, speaking with the victim in the case, obtaining any video footage that is available at the time of the assault.
Oh, go ahead, sorry.
No, obtaining video that's available that shows anything that happened pertaining to the case, and following up on all leads that are possible.
So it's mostly on the job experience that you go off? So yes. From that training and experience you have, who seemed to be the aggressor on that video?
In my opinion, it would be Kalia and then the other defendant in this case.
And by the other defendant in this case, who do you mean?
I believe her last name, is it Miss Keeler? Is that her last name? I can't remember the last name.
Thank you. All right, and as part of this investigation, did you speak to Miss Anderson at all?
I attempted to. We played kind of phone tag back and forth, because once I had received the complaint, she had been suspended from school. But the occasions that I did speak with her and her mother, they denied, in my opinion, downplayed their involvement in it, saying that Addison was the aggressor and not really making too much of a statement that would put, in my opinion, her part in the altercation, if that makes sense.
Did Miss Anderson admit to you in any way that she was involved in the fight?
She did admit she was there, but said that Addison was hitting her.
Do you recall writing a police report on February 28th of 2020 regarding this incident?
Yes.
Okay. And do you recall that Miss Anderson stated that the victim continued to yell and then the fight started between them?
Yes.
And was Miss Anderson's mother present during these discussions?
Again, this was all over phone. I never met with them, so I believe she was there listening in, but I can't say for sure because it was all done over the phone.
Do you recall Miss Anderson writing out a statement to you?
I believe the statement was written to the school, and then the school statements were turned over to me.
And was that part of your investigation to review the school statements?
Yes.
And in that statement, did Miss Anderson make any type of admissions regarding the incident, whether she was there, whether there was a fight, anything of that nature?
She did admit there was there and that there was an altercation, but again, she downplayed her role in it, I believe, if I remember correctly, from what I recall.
And when you reviewed the video, where did this incident occur exactly?
The majority of it occurred outside on the sidewalk leading into the athletic vestibule entrance, which is by the gym on Lakeview High School property. There's a maybe 150 foot sidewalk that leads from the entrance doors to the parking lot. The victim's family's vehicle was parked along the curb. And then again, it happened outside. Inside, there was a verbal altercation where the victim was confronted near the vestibule, but the majority has occurred outside on the sidewalk near the car.
Okay. Do you know what happened to that surveillance footage at the high school?
It was, from what I recall, it was turned into evidence. It was requested as further follow-up investigation. So it was placed in our evidence system, video system at the station through our lab.
All right, I don't have any further questions.
Mr. Sackrider, any cross-examination?
Yes. All right, Officer Herbstreit, to your knowledge, was that video ever submitted to the prosecutor or the court?
It was requested and I put into evidence, which is our policy. So, and I believe they have access to it
Okay.
from there.
All right. And you were not there on the night in question, is that correct?
No.
And where did you observe these videos? Was it the school's video system or was it someone's cell phone?
There was a cell phone video, but the majority of it was Lakeview High School security footage, cameras placed around the building, which I have access to on my computer in my office at the high school.
All right. Do those have microphones on those cameras?
No.
All right. You stated there was a verbal altercation inside. How do you know that?
You could see it on the video. The yell, it appeared to be the aggressive yelling back and forth and the mouth moving. And
Okay.
then also what the victim stated in this case.
Stated to you?
Yes, when she made the report, that there was a verbal altercation before the physical altercation.
And there was an alleged verbal altercation with a group of females, is that correct?
Yes, I believe there was a couple more females with the two defendants in this case, but they had no part in they were more kind of behind. So there was a group of kids around. So there was more than the three together, if that makes sense.
So it's your testimony that all of these, the alleged incidents took place outside the school?
Yeah, except for the beginning, there was water thrown inside the building.
And who threw that water?
On Addison. Miss Keeler did, I believe. It wasn't Anderson.
All right. So ultimately, this group of people moves outside. Is there another
Yes.
outside?
Is there what?
Is there another camera outside?
Yes, there is.
Okay. And you stated that Miss Fritz, I believe I have that last name correct, someone in her family was waiting in a vehicle
I believe.
outside?
Yes. Well, it was her sister and sister's boyfriend. Actually, the sister came in to grab her, but if you watch the video, they actually miss each other by a couple seconds, or this may have all been avoided. They just the sister that was coming to get her went to the wrong spot to pick her up, if that makes sense. But they ended up meeting back up downstairs as they exited the building. But at that point, the altercation had already begun between the females.
All right. And so did she retreat to the vehicle?
Miss Fritz, is that who you're asking? Retreat to the vehicle?
Yes.
Yeah, they attempted to get her to the vehicle, but she was followed to the vehicle by Miss Anderson and the other defendant in this case, co-defendant, and she was also assaulted inside her vehicle, and then again exited her vehicle back out, where the altercation continued for a couple minutes until all parties could be separated for the final time.
You're alleging she was assaulted inside the vehicle. How is that? She was assaulted.
You can see the video where the defendants were inside the vehicle, and arms were around the passenger side door where Miss Fritz was, and you can see aggressive motions of arms swinging into the car, and Addison comes back out, and there's a continuation of the physical assault.
Was that through the window?
Nope, the door continued to stay open.
Okay, so she never shut the door.
They never had a chance to get the door shut.
Okay, and then at some point, Miss Fritz stepped back outside of the vehicle?
Yes.
All right, and you've identified my client, Miss Anderson. How did you identify these individuals?
Initially, for the initial report?
Yes.
Through school officials, assistant principal, Mr. Japinga, and by speaking with Addison when she made the report. And then I was able to ID her through Skyward, which is photos and the computer system.
Did Addison ever tell you she had personal knowledge of Miss Anderson hitting her?
I don't recall exactly what she said, but Miss Anderson, she did state at some point Miss Anderson was there in her statement, and she had problems with her and Miss Keeler.
All right. Do you recall that report that you made?
I do.
All right. Today, your testimony was that Miss Anderson did make an assault inside of a vehicle. Why is that not contained in your report?
I don't know. I mean, the vehicle was brought into it. The main part of the assault that I saw was outside the vehicle. You asked me if there was assault inside the vehicle. Yes.
I would object to misleading Mr. Crotteau that question, because the report does state that there was at one point hopping in the back seat of the car where Fritz was then trying to leave.
All right, I'm gonna say the objection is overruled. Misleading is not a legal basis for an objection that I'm aware of. Mr. Sackrider, go ahead.
So the only statement you received from Miss Anderson or her mother was that she denied making that assault. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yes.
Did you show them the video that you were referring to?
They requested it through the school for FRIPA violations, which is sort of like a HIPAA violation for medical school. I do not show videos. I know they requested it through the superintendent's office, and I am not sure if they were ever able to see the video, but I never showed it to them because I couldn't at that point. That was up to the school officials to share that video, is what I was told.
And, okay, after they were at the vehicle, was there a large group of people?
Yeah, there was more than the three that are directly involved in this case. Yes.
Okay. And
I don't.
how did you identify Miss Anderson in that large group of people?
The video you can zoom in on and see, make out enough that you're able to identify who was actively assaulting at that time. And then with the help of Mr. Japinga, we were able to identify at that point.
And did this occur at nighttime?
Yes.
All right. And this happened approximately a year ago?
Yes.
And when was the last time you reviewed that video?
It's been quite a while, probably 8 or 9 months ago, because we had to turn it over to the prosecutor, so we had to make copies.
All right. All right. When you testified that you believed Miss Keeler and Miss Anderson were an aggressor, what did you mean?
They were the ones that initiated this incident that began inside. Addison was trying to leave the building, and they continued to follow Addison all the way to her vehicle.
Now, when you say that, are you speaking about Miss Keeler or Miss Anderson?
Both. But Miss Anderson's who we're dealing with right now. So yes, I observed Miss Anderson never disengaged from the beginning of the incident inside the school until after they were able to get Addison into the car a second time.
What do you mean disengaged? Was there any contact between Miss Anderson and Miss Fritz?
Yes, there was outside of the school. There was on the sidewalk.
And what kind of contact was that?
Observed on the video, Anderson striking Addison in the head area.
Okay. And you were able to single out Miss Anderson from that large group?
Yeah, the group was around them. I mean, they weren't. Yes, there was enough space in the video to tell who was assaulting who.
Okay. All right, I have no further questions.
Any redirect, Ms. Castleman?
Can you just tell me, so just to clarify of what you observed on the video, so you observed first an assault occurring before Ms. Fritz got into the car and then inside of the car, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So there was a point where Ms. Fritz tried to retreat from the altercation.
Yes, they attempted to get her in the car, but were not able to get the door closed.
Go ahead, sorry.
Nope, that's it. They just weren't able to get the door closed, and it continued. And Addison ended up getting back out of the car for a few moments.
And in your training and experience, do you think that Ms. Anderson has any type of defense in terms of self-defense in this matter?
No,
Don't even answer.
All right, well,
That's my.
I would object to that question.
Next
well, we
question.
could rephrase. Do you believe that Ms. Anderson was defending herself in any way from what you've observed?
no.
I don't have any further questions.
Mr. Sackrider, any narrowly focused recross?
No.
Ms. Castleman, may Officer Herbst be excused?
Yes, thank you.
Mr. Sackrider, may the witness be excused?
Yes.
Officer, thank you very kindly for your testimony. You are free to stay or go as you choose.
All right, thank you.
All right, Ms. Castleman, any other proofs at this time?
Let's ask if there's anyone else in the Zoom waiting room besides Mr. Sackrider's witness.
The only one in there right now is Ms. Carney Wright. The other person that was there has dropped out. So I can't bring them in and find out any more about them.
I don't have any further witnesses then.
Okay, so. All right, then, Mr. Sackrider, we've ended the prosecution case. Over to you.
Yeah, I would call Miss Carney Wright.
Hold on one moment here. Let's bring her in. Okay, hello, Ava Carney Wright.
Yes.
Excellent, thank you very much. I've brought you into the hearing now, and you're being called as a witness. Excuse me, you're being called as a witness. So I'm going to ask you to please raise your right hand and tell me when you have it raised. Ava, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Do you have your right hand raised?
Yeah.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. You can lower your hand. Please state your name and spell your last name.
Ava Carney Wright, CARNEY hyphen WRIGHT.
Mrs. Sackrider, go ahead.
All right. Ava, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you recall an incident at a basketball game in February of last year, on or about February 28th, 2020?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And you witness an altercation on that date?
Yes.
And can you explain to the court what you witnessed?
Can I ask for a little more foundation on who Miss Carney Wright is?
Well, actually, what I'm going to say is not right now. Let's let Mr. Sackrider ask his questions, and it may be that that goes to the weight of the evidence. Ms. Carney Wright, I noted you were on mute for a moment there, and you may have said something that we didn't end up hearing. So I'm going to ask Mr. Sackrider to ask his question again. Go ahead, sir.
All right. Ava, can you tell the court what you witnessed on that night?
Basically, me, Ariana, and Kalia, we left the basketball game and we were standing in this hallway outside the basketball or outside the gym. And I don't know her name, but I think it's Addison's sister. She came into that little hallway where we were standing at because Kalia waits for her boyfriend. Her boyfriend was playing in the basketball game. And her sister came in there and she was on the phone. And she was basically just, yeah, these bitches are in here. And we didn't say anything to her. We were just standing there waiting for the game to end. And instead of them leaving, they came inside where we were at and then just started going on and on. And they just started arguing, and then it kind of escalated.
Okay. And is it your testimony, the group of girls that approached you was the aggressor in this situation?
I'm sorry?
Did they confront you, that group of girls?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, do you recall water being thrown inside the gymnasium hallway?
Yes, I do.
And do you recall who did that or how that happened?
Um, what was it? Well, we were just standing there, and she came in there, started arguing, so Ariana threw the water at her. I mean, just not threw the whole water bottle at her, like,
Just the water?
yeah, squeezed the water bottle.
Okay. And what happened next?
Basically, Ariana and Addison's sister just started arguing.
Okay. And did they move outside?
Yeah, it all moved outside after that.
All right. And why did it move outside?
I just because Addison's sister was pulling her outside and trying to pull Addison outside, and
All right. Did Addison not want to go outside?
I mean, it didn't seem like it. She was just kind of standing there arguing still.
Okay. All right. And so and you guys end up outside. What happened next?
They're still arguing, and I'm just standing there. I mean, they're arguing. I walk outside and it's basically just arguing for a while until I don't know who it was, but it was a random guy. It might have been Addison's boyfriend, Addison's sister's boyfriend, her brother. I don't know, sorry. But he kind of just came up and started like pushing Ariana back up against like the wall she was kind of standing by.
Okay. And did you observe Kalia Anderson arguing with Miss Fritz?
I don't know who Miss Fritz is, but I know that Kalia wasn't doing anything. I mean, she was standing by me the entire time.
All right. Was she wasn't, either of you weren't yelling at anyone?
No, I mean, Kalia, I think she said like one or two things, but that is literally it.
All right. And then was that relation to, for people to stop fighting?
Uh,
What did you hear Miss Anderson make any threats towards anyone?
no, there were no threats.
All right. One second here. All right. Did you witness Miss Anderson assault Addison?
No, because she didn't.
Were you there the whole time?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. Did you hear me, Ava?
Oh, no.
Were you there the whole time with Kalia?
Yes, I was.
Okay. Did you observe Addison attempt to get in a vehicle
She was being pulled back towards the vehicle, but she started walking back towards us when she got closer to that vehicle.
And was she saying anything?
She was basically just saying, don't walk away now, don't, come on, let's fight. And just,
And you said someone was pulling her into the vehicle. Did she go into the vehicle?
not at first. She came back towards us and started arguing again, and then got pulled back towards the vehicle again.
Okay. And did you witness any assault inside the vehicle?
Mm,
Yes or no? I can't see you nodding your head or shaking your head.
Ava,
Okay.
can you hear me?
You just speak up.
yeah.
Is there someone there with you?
I'm sorry. I'm Ava's mother, and she's just very nervous, and she's not knowing what to say.
Okay,
She's just really
and
she's
that's
never
fine.
testified in court before, so she's just pretty nervous.
Okay, I'll say that Ava is doing fine in that she is answering the questions that are being asked of her. And that's all that we want her to do. And just basically answer truthfully. I do want to note then for the record that Ava is with her mother in the same room, and that's just one of the weird things about trying to do these hearings in a Zoom era. With that record made, Mr. Sackrider, go ahead.
All right. Yeah, Ava, you're doing a great job. If we ask you a question you don't know the answer to, it's fine to say I don't know or I don't remember.
Okay.
So back to my question: Did you witness an altercation inside the vehicle that Addison got into?
I don't know.
All right, that's
You don't know either.
Sackrider, go ahead.
Okay. And Addison got out of the vehicle at what happened? Was anyone else? What happened? Was there a large group of people outside at this time?
I mean, not really. I mean, it was just the people Addison was with and me and Kalia up until
Okay.
Caleb ran out.
All
I'm
right.
sorry, Ava, I didn't catch the last thing you said. You said it was you and Kalia up until someone else arrived. Who was that?
Up until Caleb came outside.
Caleb, is that right?
Yeah.
Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Sackrider.
All right. And so you were right next to Kalia the whole time?
Yeah.
All right. And did you provide me with a picture and 2 short videos?
I'm sorry?
Do you recall taking any cell phone video that night?
Yes.
All right. And to your recollection, what did the cell phone video show?
It just showed basically what I told you, where Addison comes back towards us after she's kind of being dragged to the car.
All right. And so she approached you?
I'm sorry?
She approached you group of girls on her own?
I mean, we weren't all that kind of close. Like, she was more towards the car and we were still like on the sidewalk.
Okay.
These are not hard questions.
In those videos, do you say Addison was the aggressor?
I think you may have broken up a bit there, Mr. Sackrider, while you were asking that question. I didn't catch what the question was. Why don't you re-ask it?
Ava, in those videos that you took, would you say that Addison was the aggressor?
I don't know.
Okay. Do you recall Kalia running inside the school to get help?
Yes.
Okay. And at no time did you witness Kalia hitting anyone? Is that correct?
Yes. Kalia did not touch anybody.
All right, I have no further questions. Thank you very much, Ava.
Ms. Castleman, do you have any questions for the witness?
Yes, I do. Ms. Wright, I appreciate your time today. So how do you know Miss Anderson, Miss Kalia Anderson?
I'm a friend.
How long have you been friends with her?
A couple of years, so a long time.
Since when?
Since birth, pretty much.
Okay. Would you consider yourself her best friend?
No. More like family.
You've known her for, how old are you?
17.
So you've known her for 17 years?
Yeah.
And you don't know Addison's last name, correct?
Correct.
So I take it you're not her friend.
No.
All right. And did you talk about this criminal case with Miss Anderson after this incident occurred?
Did you hear that question?
I'm sorry?
Did you hear that question, Ava?
No, not really.
Ms. Castleman, why don't you re-ask?
Miss Wright, did you talk to Kalia Anderson about this pending criminal matter after the incident occurred? The fact that she's facing criminal charges, testimony, anything of that regard?
Yes.
Tell me about those conversations.
I mean, we basically just talked about what happened.
Did you talk about testifying on her behalf?
What do you mean? Like,
Did you talk to Miss Kalia Anderson or her family in any way about testifying on her behalf in trial, in court?
I mean, yeah, I had to be told when to come here.
All right. So those videos that you took with your cell phone, did you ever bring them to the police? And isn't it correct that if you brought them to the defense attorney, don't you think that they would probably exonerate Miss Anderson in some way? Why would you not bring those to the police to exonerate your friend?
Object to that question.
Basis?
Speculation.
Overruled.
So,
Ava,
Mr.
why didn't you show those videos to Officer Herbstreit?
Tell them what. Oh my God.
Pardon me, say that one more time?
Because I sent them to Wendy.
Okay. There's Ms. Castleman, there's your answer.
Who's Wendy?
Kalia's mom.
All right. So you never spoke to the police officer in this matter at all, correct?
Correct.
All right. So you never wrote a statement to the school either about what occurred?
Nobody asked me. I mean, no.
And you stated before, when it seemed like you're having some trouble answering Mr. Sackrider's question whether there was an assault in the vehicle. You stated, I don't know. However, you stated before that you were standing next to Miss Anderson the entire time, the entire incident. So tell me what happened in that vehicle and whether there was an assault. I'd remind you, you're under oath.
Ava, did you see anything? Did you see what happened or didn't happen in the car that we're all sort of talking about here?
Did I see?
Yes.
I mean, a little.
What did you see happen in the car?
Addison was in the car and I know.
Ava, what did you see happen in the car, please?
Addison is, I don't know, Addison is in the the car and everybody's surrounding it.
What else happened?
Addison told Ariana not to walk away.
All right, and what else happened?
And Ariana just turned around and went back. I mean,
Am I understanding you correctly that Addison told Ariana to walk away and Ariana walked away?
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
Is your testimony that Addison told Ariana to walk away and Ariana walked away?
To not walk away. She was instigating.
Oh, I see. Okay. Okay. Now then, Ms. Castleman, any other questions?
Are you also friends with Ariana Keeler?
Yes.
How long have you known her for?
Just about a year.
And is anyone else in the room with you right now besides your mother?
No.
And did Miss Anderson or her mother or anyone else besides, I guess, Mr. Sackrider, direct you in any way on how to testify today?
No.
Did you ever see Miss Anderson make contact with anyone during that incident? Any physical contact?
The only time I see Kalia, like, quote unquote, around everybody is when she was trying to get Ariana.
When was she trying to get Ariana?
Like, she was trying to get that grown man off of her.
I have no further questions for this witness.
Okay, any redirect, Mr. Sackrider?
All right, no, I have no more questions.
Mr. Sackrider, may the witness be excused?
Yes.
And Ms. Castleman, may the witness be excused?
Yes.
Ava, thank you very much for your testimony. You are free to stay or go as you choose. Mr. Sackrider, any other proofs at this time?
Could I just have a brief break to speak with my client?
Okay. I'm going to pause the record for a moment. Paused. I will open up a breakout room for Kalia and Mr. Sackrider. You should get a button for breakout room 1, and I'm going to stop the live stream until we come back. So you guys should have a breakout room. There you go.